In today's video, we'll drive Highway 84 Waco Drive, the main east-west artery through Waco. Let's take a look at a Waco map. The Waco city limits are indicated in blue on this map, and as you can see, the boundaries are very irregular. We'll begin our drive from the west by the McGregor Airport, pass all the way through Waco on Waco Drive, past I-35 on the east side, and continue to where Highway 84 and Highway 31 separate east of Waco. As we approach Waco from the west, you will notice as we zoom in that on the left is the McGregor Executive Airport in the city limits of McGregor, and on the right are many homes that fall within the Waco city limits. After passing through a section of Waco, we temporarily leave Waco after crossing the South Bosque River and enter the city of Woodway before re-entering Waco at Highway 6, where Highway 84 becomes Waco Drive. The same thing happens on the east side of Waco just after passing under the I-35 bridge, where 84 enters the city of Belmead. Let's begin our drive eastbound as we approach the McGregor Executive Airport on our left. Now, if you'd like to make the drive from east to west only, then simply skip to 2926 on the timeline, and you'll see the same drive, but this time westbound beginning on the east side of Waco. The McGregor Executive Airport is used by private jets serving SpaceX in McGregor and industries in Waco as well. It is also a general aviation airport. The Harris Creek subdivision to the right is part of the city of Waco. This area is a rapidly developing part of Waco, and because of this, the highway ahead has been newly rebuilt in the last few years. This overpass was built to relieve traffic congestion caused by traffic lights at this intersection in the past. On the left here is Twin Rivers subdivision. It is a subdivision of very nice homes built around a man-made lake and adjoining the Bear Ridge Golf Course. As we cross the bridge here over the South Bosque River, we will be exiting the Waco city limits and entering the city limits of Woodway. This Waco suburb is also rapidly growing, and it, along with Hewitt, are parts of the Midway School District. The building on the left here is the administration building for the Midway Independent School District. The Estates Drive and Hewitt Drive exit is an important exit. Hewitt Drive contains many restaurants, shops, and other retail. We'll explore Hewitt Drive more in other videos. The upcoming exit ahead on the right is the Highway 6 Loop 340 exit. This exit would take us back over to Interstate 35, and also it would take us out to Lake Waco in the other direction. This is a favorite way to reach the other side of Waco, Baylor, and even East Waco without having to drive all the way down 84 as we're going to do today. As we pass the exit here, you will notice the bluebonnets have begun to appear on the right side of the road. The bluebonnet is the Texas state flower. As we pass under the Highway 6 overpass, we are leaving Woodway and now entering the city limits of Waco again. The next exit on the right is Franklin Avenue. Franklin Avenue is an excellent way to get to downtown Waco from Waco Drive. Franklin Avenue has businesses, retail, and many restaurants along the way of interest to those visiting Waco. It is also a central street whenever you reach downtown. Let's continue on Highway 84, which has now become Waco Drive into Waco. The intersection here is Lake Air Drive. Turning left here onto Lake Air Drive would take us to a very busy part of Valley Mills Drive and beyond. The intersection ahead is New Road. Going to the right here would take you over to Franklin Avenue and then eventually all the way to I-35. Going to the left would take you immediately over to Valley Mills Drive and then into North Waco. Just past this intersection is the actual intersection with Valley Mills Drive. This is usually a busy intersection with lots of cars going up and down Waco Drive as well as Valley Mills Drive. We'll be exploring Valley Mills Drive further in future videos. Let's continue through the intersection and head east on Waco Drive. This section of Waco Drive has quite a few professional business buildings, such as law firms and medical buildings, as well as accounting, things like that. There are also a few homes along this section, as well as apartment buildings. The tan building on the left is the Waco Scottish Rite Museum and Temple. The building coming up on the right is La Michoacana Mexican Meat Market and Groceries. It features Hispanic groceries, produce, meats, and other goods. The area ahead was once a center of retail in Waco. The tan building just ahead was once the Waco Sears and Roebuck. Many years ago, it was a shopping hub in Waco. As the intersecting street numbers reach single digits, we know we're getting close to the Brazos River. Turning to the right on most of these streets would take us downtown and to the Magnolia market area. The bridge ahead is the Brazos River. It is important to note that you cannot access University Parks Drive on this side of the river or Martin Luther King Jr. Drive on the other side directly from Highway 84. You will need to go over an extra block in either direction and then come back to University Parks or Martin Luther King Jr. Hey, if you haven't done so, would you take a minute to subscribe to the channel? It really helps us, and if you'll hit that notification button, it will make sure that you'll never miss our new content. We make all kinds of travel content and are just getting started on our Waco content. The signs ahead indicate that we are nearing the intersection with Interstate 35 and Highway 77. We'll pass over Highway 77 and then under Interstate 35. As we pass under Interstate 35, we will be leaving the city limits of Waco and entering the city limits of Belmead. The local Sam's Club is located on the right, just past this intersection. Located on the right are the municipal buildings of Belmead. Just ahead is Loop 340. Had we exited Highway 84 at Highway 6 and Loop 340 on the west side of Waco and continued all the way around, we would have arrived here. This loop was greatly utilized during the reconstruction of Interstate 35 through Waco. As we begin to come to the edges of town, the buildings you see on the left in the distance are part of the TSTC, Texas State Technical College, Waco Airport. This area was utilized during the George W. Bush presidency as a landing place for Air Force One when the president came to his nearby Crawford Ranch. The intersection ahead is Aviation Parkway, which leads to the airport as well as Texas State Technical College. Stick around for our return trip to the west. I have a couple of interesting stories of Air Force One from the Bush presidency days. We're going to continue a little bit further east on Highway 84 to the place where Highway 31 and Highway 84 diverge. Ahead is the Highway 31 and Highway 84 split. Highway 31 would head north toward Corsicana and eventually toward Tyler, Texas, while 84 continues east toward East Texas. We'll head right on 84, and then we're going to end this part of our drive as we go to the east. But hang around, because we're going to go back into Waco headed west. Let's head west on Highway 84 toward Belmead and then into Waco. I was driving on this section of the road one day in the early 2000s on a return trip from Atlanta, Georgia, when I looked to my right through the windshield and saw Air Force One on final approach to the TSTC Waco Airport. A few minutes later, when I had reached Loop 340, I observed Marine One, the helicopter the president was riding in, along with two accompanying helicopters, flying the president out to his ranch in Crawford, Texas. This would not be the only encounter it turned out I would have with Air Force One, as on a separate trip, Air Force One had just landed at TSTC Airport. As we reached Aviation Parkway, the road was blocked by the Secret Service, and just as we arrived, the presidential motorcade was turning onto the highway ahead of us, headed again toward the Crawford Ranch, this time by motorcade instead of helicopter. The intersection we're stopping at ahead is Aviation Parkway. Here we're entering the Waco suburb of Belmead. The restaurant on the right is the Parks Family Buffet, a fixture for many years in this area. The highway ahead, just past Bush's Chicken, is Loop 340. If we were to go left here, we could continue all the way around to the west side of Waco to Highway 84. If we went right, we would be able to go back to I-35. In addition, Loop 340 turns into Lakeshore Drive just on the other side of Interstate 35. On the right just ahead is the East Gate Shopping Center, and the tan building on the left is Sam's Club. We are approaching Interstate 35 just ahead, and after we pass under it, we will be exiting Belmead and entering the city limits of Waco. The bridge we're currently passing over is passing over Highway 77. There's not a lot of tourist interest places between here and the Brazos River, so let's enjoy the drive to the Brazos River. The bridge ahead crosses the Brazos River. Remember, you can't access Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard on this side of the river or University Parks on the other side directly, and you will need to go down to those streets before you get to the river or after you complete crossing it. The brick building on the right just before the river was once the very popular Waterworks restaurant in Waco many years ago. As we enter this part of Waco, the light ahead would take us to downtown Waco if we turned left, as would several intersections beyond. Seventeenth Street ahead is one way to the right, and will take you all the way out to Cameron Park and eventually to Lakeshore Drive. 18th Street just ahead is one way to the left and will take you out all the way to Interstate 35 and the 17th and 18th Street exits. And in doing so, it will cross Franklin and Austin and several other major streets that would take you into downtown Waco, as well as to Magnolia Marketplace. The tan building on the right is the Lee Lockwood Scottish Rite Library and Museum. The intersection ahead is Valley Mills Drive. It is home to many retail establishments and restaurants. Turning right on Valley Mills would eventually take you to the beginning of Lakeshore Drive in Lake Waco. Turning left would lead back toward Interstate 35, the Circle, and Magnolia Table. Let's continue on Highway 84. If you haven't done so, would you consider subscribing to the channel and hit the notification button so that you never miss any of our new content? We release all kinds of travel content, and we're just getting started on our Waco content. This intersection is Lake Air Drive. Turning right here would take you over to Valley Mills Drive and then beyond to Bosque Boulevard and all the way out to the Extraco Events Center. The left 2 lanes here will continue on Highway 84. The right 2 lanes will exit toward Richland Mall and Highway 6 Loop 340. You can also get out to Lake Waco this way. We'll continue on Highway 84. As we pass under the Highway 6 Loop 340 bridges, we are again entering Woodway and exiting from Waco city limits. Exiting here provides access to Hewitt Drive and more retail, shopping, and restaurants. We'll continue on Highway 84. From the top of the hill, we overlook the South Bosque River Valley, the Bear Ridge Golf Course, and the Twin Rivers subdivision. As we cross the South Bosque River back into Waco for one last little part, we're going to end the video here. I hope you've enjoyed this look at Highway 84 and Waco Drive as we travel through Waco. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, would you hit the thumbs up, share it with your friends, and leave us a comment to let us know your thoughts? We invite you to join us on our website at findushere.com, as well as on Facebook, Instagram, and Patreon. Meanwhile, check out this video next for more travel fun, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss any of our new content. Your subscription is always free, helps us grow the channel, and is always greatly appreciated.